Up YouTube, welcome to the design room, which also just happens to be my bedroom. Shout out to my wife for letting me borrow it. But as you can see here, we have a model in 3 dimensions of a man about as tall as me. Let's call it 5'10". On it, I have designed somewhat of a harness. I'm just thinking these can be little black kind of like turnovers, like Velcro straps, and they wrap around here, and hopefully they'll attach to this back cylinder here and keep it from moving left and right. As you've seen from the other videos, the harness down here was not enough and the wing foil kept moving it left and right. So I'm hoping to build some sort of strap pack that will keep it vertical. Next, as you can see, I've done my best to model a wing foil wing. It's a little bit larger than my room, but you can tell the dimensions are pretty much there. And I mean, isn't this technology absolutely incredible? Even if I wanted, I can go into a different dimension, or I thought I could. But I mean, even look at the shadow on the ground. Like, that's wild to me. But either way, we have the wing here, and there's the mast. So here's the idea of what I want to happen, and I'm hoping you guys can leave comments below of how I can make this happen. So I'm imagining that there's some sort of string from the mast to the leash point on the wing. Inside of the mast, I haven't designed it yet, but down in the mast, I was thinking of putting some sort of constant tension spring. Think about like a tape measure, how it always is constantly pulling it back, and it will keep this line nice and taut. Shouldn't take a lot of pressure. Another option just for my prototype would just be to put like a 2.5 pound weight in there, just to keep this from getting wrapped around and out of the way while in use. So we can go ahead and delete that. But just to give you an idea, so if I was standing here using the wing, let's say I'm holding on it, I want to be able to put it above my head, and without aiming or having to specifically put it somewhere, just get it as close as I can to my head, and I want it to kind of latch in somehow. So I'm trying to figure out how to latch it. Ideally, it would be some sort of spring system. So as we talked about earlier, there would be some sort of spring keeping this tension tight, but I would want about, as I get, let's say, what is that, 6 inches? If the leash gets about 6 inches from the mast, and sorry, my fingers aren't represented well here, but if I get 6 inches from the mast, I want a stronger spring to suck it together. And then that spring also needs to be strong enough to resist wind tension. So to overcome that, I've had a couple ideas, but none of the ideas have fully worked out. Let me show you this idea I have here. So I'm going to move this away, and we're going to zoom into my masthead. Oh, it's a little bit different than it was in the past. Okay, so imagine this orange line here is my halyard, right? What's connected to my wing, and it goes in here, and there's a little ball or plug. So what happens is, as you bring the wing in, just to watch the black ball, as you bring the wing closer, that ball will eventually go in and fall into the, let me see if I can go inside. So this ball will come in through here and get locked into place. I'm actually thinking of making some sort of like negative hook, so it will get sucked in there. So if you think about it, once this is secure, this ball has retracted back enough into here, it will be locked in, and no matter how hard the wind is blowing, it will only be there. It will get sucked in and not released. Now what I'm thinking to release it, you'll actually pull your wing, if you can see my hand over here, you'll pull your wing backwards, back behind the mast, and up. And that will release the ball through here. But as you can see, that might be quite the wiggle or the puzzle to do to get it unlocked. So that's why I don't think this idea would work. But what I was imagining is there'd be some sort of weight or constant spring pulling this down, and then you'd get it out there to release. And then once it's released, it would look something like this. So see, it would go through this little, oh, I'm grabbing all sorts of things here. It would go through that slice, and this would rotate depending on how the winging is flagging. But I don't think that idea is going to work. Simple, but I don't think that's necessarily going to do the trick. So if anybody could help me with this problem and try to find an intuitive way that I can put the wing above the rider's head and it will stay secure against the wind and not blow away. However, as soon as the rider grabs it, they need to do some sort of either lift or tug pattern, almost like a seatbelt, and then it will release and they can use it again. So one more time, just to clarify what the problem is, we need some sort of system that doesn't provide any sort of resistance, right? We can't have a strong spring all the time or else it will always be pulling. So it needs to be a light spring so I can use it. And then as soon as I bring it back to the mast pole, close to it, I need a strong spring or something strong to latch it in and hold it there.